Drew, you was the number one overall pick in 1993. It is obviously every time I talk to former number one picks because I was a number one overall pick as a receiver a couple years after you, and I get a chance to talk to the Mannings and just different people. What was that experience like doing draft night?
It was pretty crazy, Key. And the funny thing is that I think I was the last and maybe only number one overall pick to not wear a suit. And that was simply because I didn't own one, man. I was true country boy from nowhere. I didn't even own a suit when I got drafted. So I'm up there in just a shirt.
That's weird.
But pretty crazy. It's obviously not what it is now, when you and I got drafted, I think you were still in New York City, right?
Yeah. I was in New York. I had a suit.
Yeah, I know you did. Look at that. Yeah, there's my outfit. That's all. That's come up with right there. Yeah, true country boy. But yeah, we're back there in New York City. It was actually the first time that my folks and my brother and I were on an airplane together was when we flew to the draft. Man, it was like the Waltons go to New York. Man, we're walking around, looking at these big buildings, and not knowing we're about to get murdered in the middle of the night. And and then draft day, man, it was kind of crazy. It was, it's fast. You and I had the blessing of not having to sit there and wait for a long time. The draft starts and your name's called, and then it's kind of a whirlwind after that.
Did you know you would go one, or were you kind of skeptical that Seattle had the number 2 pick in the draft and you could go to 2 and New England could take Rick Meyer at 1?
Yeah, and Parcells played his cards really close to the vest. He wouldn't tell anybody what his plans were. We felt like I was going to be the pick, but if they didn't pick me, then I was going to fall all the way to number 2, and to be
all the way, man, that's right underneath.
I know, right?
Number one picks, man.
I know, right? We're looking. Hey, when we get older like this, Junior, we got to grasp onto these things from way back in the day. But I was also, but I kind of wanted to go to Seattle. I mean, that's my hometown team, really.
Mm-hmm.
They're the closest team to us up here. Ultimately, I was really glad I went and played ball out there and out in New England. And for me, honestly, it was kind of nice being that far away from home.
Yeah.
This is how old we are, Junior. This was like pre-internet. So, and so, my friends and my parents back home, all they got to see were highlights. They couldn't go and they didn't get all this. They couldn't get every game. They couldn't get, all the other commentary that comes at you now. So, when I got home, people, I could walk around and be fairly anonymous. And as far as anybody at home knew, all I did was throw touchdowns because they just only saw highlights.
Who was a quarterback in Seattle then, like Jim Zorn or something?
Let's see, Zorn and then Dave Craig. And
Dave Craig.
They had drafted a few years before us, Dan McGuire.
Yeah, Dan McGuire from San Diego State.
Yeah, exactly. Big old 6'8" donkey. He could throw it.
No, he was tall as hell.
Oh, man, right? I'm tall. I'm 6'5". I mean, we're tall, Key, but you meet Dan McGuire, man, the dude should be on the basketball court instead.
No, I swear you're taller than 6'5". You're every bit of 6'6", seriously.
No, man, I haven't started to shrink yet, which is good. But no, 6'5" even. I was 6'5" even at the combine.
Gosh. So when you look back at it in 1996, you led the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Obviously, you fell short in New Orleans there against Brett Favre and company in Green Bay, 35-21. You look back at that season, like, was it everything and then some, or the fact that you didn't finish the deal as a team that you just kind of like, damn?
Yeah. I mean, it's, the sad thing in a season like that, first of all, we were unexpected, right? We'd been 5-11 the year before, and so we kind of came out of nowhere to make that run. But the sad thing, when you make it to the Super Bowl and lose, it's in a lot of ways is more painful than not making it at all, because you get right there and you're so close to your ultimate goal. Man, it's painful. I've never watched that game. I've never watched that Super Bowl game. didn't have a great game. Reggie White wore me out and tried to bury me underneath the AstroTurf. So it hurts, man. It hurts to be in that situation and not win it. And then we get back there in 2001, but the other guy's on the field. So we won that one, which is great, but that one's a little bit bittersweet as well.
In 2001, you mentioned it. You guys go AFC Championship game to Pittsburgh, and I tell people this all the time, and not just because you're on the podcast. I say if Drew Bledsoe wasn't the quarterback in that Pittsburgh game, they don't go to the Super Bowl. They just don't. It's the reality of it. It's the truth. It's the reality of it. When you look back at it, though, in 1996, Drew, if you win that Super Bowl, is there even a thought in your mind that there is another quarterback in the New England Patriots?
No, heck no. When they drafted Tommy in 2000, he came in. He was, everybody knows his whole story, but he was not a threat. Key, it was like he's just this skinny kid that's on practice squad. And then on that next year, I signed a 10-year contract. Looked like I was going to be there for the rest of my life. So, I didn't see that whole thing coming, and I don't think anybody else did, except maybe Tom himself. So, but no, there was not a thought in my mind. I thought I was going to play my entire career for one organization, and that we were going to go on and win a few more championships, and just didn't work out, man. Life throws you curveballs.
We absolutely hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more from us, hit that subscribe button for all videos, full episodes, and exclusive content from the show. And don't forget to find All Facts, No Breaks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.